2013, 13-1, 11-3, 11-2. More than likely, especially in the expanded CFP, he's in the playoff in those seasons. This team is a playoff caliber team. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master of Football back at it again. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things college football, hit that red subscribe button. Do it right now. Also hit the like button as well. And again, if you're on Twitter/X, follow me as well on there. I talk anything college football as well as some EA college football content. Remember, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, we had huge news that happened last night. And again, it was after the Oregon State and Oregon game happened on Friday. And then on Saturday, we had the big news about midday. That was very good news for the Michigan State Spartan fans and not so great news for Oregon State fans. We're going to approach this story from both perspectives. Let's go. Here we are from Adam Rittenberg. Michigan State names Oregon State's Jonathan Smith as new coach. Michigan State hired Oregon State football head coach Jonathan Smith for the same role Saturday, hours before both teams ended their regular seasons. Smith, 44, completed the regular season on Friday as number 16 Oregon State fell to rival Oregon 31-7 on the road, dropping to an 8-4 season. A source tells ESPN that Smith met with the Beavers team late Saturday morning to inform them his decision to leave for Michigan State. And again, it says here the former Beavers quarterback, remember he played for them back in the day. Former Beavers quarterback finishes 34-35 in 6 seasons at his alma mater, but an 18-7 since the start of the 2020 campaign. He shared Pac-12 Coach of the Year honors with Washington's Kalen DeBoer in 2022 when Oregon State went 10-3 and finished number 17 nationally. And we see the post here from Twitter X. Michigan State football, a new era of Spartan football is here. Please welcome Jonathan Smith as the 26th head coach in program history. Go Green. It says that his hire here is pending approval by Michigan State's Board of Trustees, and he's expected to be introduced early next week. We all have to remember here, it continues on about the Mel Tucker saga. Michigan State fired coach Mel Tucker for cause September 27th after suspending him earlier in the month. The university had investigated Tucker, a coach since 2020, after a sexual misconduct claim was brought against him by Brenda Tracy, a sexual assault awareness speaker who had spoken to the MSU team. Tucker, who has nearly $79 million remaining on his contract and received late in 2020, has taken steps to file a lawsuit for wrongful termination. Secondary coach Harlan Bennett took over the team as the interim coach. And again, they didn't do so great at the end of the season there. They finished 4-8, including a 42-0 loss against number 11 Penn State at Detroit's Ford Field in a neutral site. And the story about Smith is really a cool one because he went out there, and again, he really, I hate to do the Drake song, but he really started from the bottom and he brought himself up. Says Smith, who joined Oregon State as a walk-on and quarterbacked the team to 11 wins and a number 4 finish in 2000, returned to his alma mater after 4 seasons as Washington's offensive coordinator under Chris Peterson. He helped the Huskies to a CFP appearance in 2016, also made stops at Boise State, Montana, and Idaho. He's from California and has never coached outside the Northwest, although the Big Ten expansion is expanding into the area in 2024 with Washington and Oregon joining alongside USC and UCLA. And if you were a big fan of Oregon State, you remember here. It's like, Dad, what was it like when Jonathan Smith came back to coach the Beavs? You could see the fact that it was like your hometown guy coming back and leading the team, walk on, start doing all that kind of stuff. And ultimately he left. Now, I think the reason why he left, I'm going to let you know right now. Obviously, he said, this is my dream job. I love coaching here. I love being here and all of that. But at the end of the day, he has to take care of himself. And there's no better way to take care of himself than for him to get even a fraction of what Mel Tucker got. And Mel Tucker, it was a really weird case here because he started off, his contract was worth $5.5 annually for 6 years. So 6 times 5 is 30. So he's, somewhere in the $30 million range. And then after he had a very good season, he, on November 24th, 2021, he signed a 10-year, $95 million extension, which of course he is trying to recoup right now. They're saying it's for cause and all that kind of stuff. But you come down here and check this out. He went to Colorado, 1 season, 5-7, was resigned and went to Michigan State, went 2-5, and then 11-2, boom, got the big extension, went 5-7, and then went 2-0 this season, and then ultimately was let go. So we're thinking right now, if you think about that right there, $95 million, that's almost 9 figures. We're talking about $100 million is 9 figures. That's what he's probably going to be getting close to. I don't know if he's going to get the full 1095, but something like that. He's going to get a big fat payday. Jonathan Smith is from Michigan State. And I know people might not think about this right now because, oh yeah, well they went 5-7 last year. They went 4-8 this year. There's nothing special about Michigan State. Think about this. Come back here to Mark D'Antonio. So again, we got a couple people here. Nick Saban did good back in the day. Mark D'Antonio back in the day here. So if you think about this, 11-2 in 2014, 2013, 13-1, 11-3, 11-2. More than likely, especially in the expanded CFP, he's in the playoff in those seasons. This team is a playoff caliber team if they get the right coach, if they get everything lined up. 11-2 as well. You think as high as 3? Remember there, CFP Final 10, more than likely they would be in the college football playoff. So this team fully capable of that. And you see that in many respects with their recruiting. Now, I know this is the 2023 recruiting class. This is a class that are committed to Mel Tucker's staff and so on, but still thinking about what they're capable of. Now, again, are they up here at the top? Not necessarily. But one thing you could come down here and check is the fact that they're all the way down here 24. 24 is not bad. I know one thing they mentioned there was the fact that the reason why they wanted to bring Jonathan Smith in was because of his ability to develop players and go from there. Now, again, Michigan State is a very top, it's a A-B+ program, depending upon your coach out there. But if you can get somebody who can develop players, there's plenty of seasons where you're going to compete with Ohio State, compete with Michigan, compete with Penn State, and now added into that, you have to compete with Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA in the division. But first and foremost, Jonathan Smith has a big, big battle on his hands. As you can see here, this is the 2024. The last one was the 2023. This is the 2024 recruiting classes. You see the fact that Ohio State's at the top there. Then Oregon, remember, Big Ten team this season. Penn State, Michigan, USC, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Purdue, Minnesota, Iowa, Rutgers, Washington, Maryland, Illinois, Indiana, UCLA, and then down here currently 17th in the conference. Not even in the country, in the conference, Michigan State is. So Jonathan Smith, not only does he not have much to work off of there from a freshman class, he's got to bring that class in. Probably got a lot of guys he was recruiting at Oregon State, bring them over. But in addition to that, I believe that this happens all the time. This happened with USC, with Lincoln Riley when he left Oklahoma, and it's going to happen continuously. When a coach gets a upgrade in terms of a head coaching job from Oregon State to Michigan State, a lot of times he's going to bring a lot of the players he liked with him along. We saw it with Coach Deion Sanders and so on. So who is he going to try to get? It's pretty simple at this point. The number one on my mind, and again, you could say, oh yeah, DJU, you might have another year of eligibility. I don't even know about that. I do know that sophomore running back, 6 foot tall, 232 pounds, 194 carries, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6.1 yards per carry. He's going to try and bring over stud running back Damian Martinez. Sophomore, he'll be a junior this next season. He's the first one. I think that he'll probably be the most immediate impact if he tries to bring him over. There is one player, though, that is far and away the biggest prize he can bring over from Oregon State, and he didn't even play much last season. Now think about this. This is what Jonathan Smith was capable of doing in the class of 2023. The number 58 overall player in the country, the number 7 quarterback, number 7 player in the state of California, Aiden Charles. Can run, can throw, absolute baller. The top 100 quarterback. He's one that I have my eyes on because we don't really know what's going to happen with Oregon State. He might say he's loyal to the program. I would not be surprised if he decides. And again, he's from California. Maybe he does something around there. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Michigan State. He's his guy, runs the system, and goes on from there. I would not be surprised if Aiden Charles isn't the guy in East Lansing this next season. And you see this person here, this meme, you took everything from me, Oregon State, and said, I don't even know who you are, Big Ten. Because if you think about that, not only did they take the Big Ten, Michigan State took Jonathan Smith, their head coach from Oregon State, but the Big Ten basically just took they're the ones who really put the straw that broke the camel's back. I know it's technically a Utah professor that really screwed them. Well, there's a ton of people who are at fault at this point. But when the Big Ten came for Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA, that was basically it for the Pac-12 and Oregon State. In addition to getting Jonathan Smith, that's just icing on the cake. And you could really see it from this statement here, how this is, kind of a double-edged statement here, because he's saying here, okay, Scott Barnes' statement on Jonathan Smith leaving, his decision following weeks of conversations during which he expressed his support for OSU's, Oregon State's, short and long-term plans and appreciation for the efforts OSU made to provide him with a new contract and guaranteed compensation. They were doing everything they can to try and keep him. Unfortunately, with the whole flux situation of the currently Pac-12/2, whatever it is, Oregon State and Washington State, they're kind of out there on an island. We don't really know. Next season, they're operating as if they're going to be a two-team conference. We really don't know what to expect, and that's probably the reason why Jonathan Smith is leaving. Again, Damian Martinez, Aiden Charles, would not be surprised if they left with him as well. And this was about 10 or 11 days ago here, but we see that Dennis Dodd says here, as the court rules, Oregon State and Washington State have full control of the Pac-12. Teams explore 2024 scheduling options. And again, they have control over as much as $500 million. And the legal court's case there basically stated that Oregon State and Washington State, as long as they operate fairly, and again, that's what lawyers are for, fairly there, they will be able to have the majority of those assets going forward. But they're operating right now as if they're going to be a two-team league. So I don't really know. I mean, I do know Jonathan Smith leaving for Michigan State. He's leaving for, we won't say a sinking ship, but we're going to say a ship that's taking on a little bit of water for a big, beautiful ship in Michigan State. It makes all the sense in the world. So Jonathan Smith goes to Michigan State. If you ever watch any Oregon State football, and I watched plenty of it these last 2 years, you're going to have great running backs. You're going to have really good tight ends. You're going to run the ball. You're going to run a lot of play action, a lot of boot, a lot of really good pro-style offense is what you're going to have, and a team that's physical and a team that really develops its players. Again, 2 players to watch to see if they come over with Jonathan Smith to Michigan State. Quarterback, top 100 recruit in 2023, Aiden Charles, really, really good player. Stud, can run, can throw, in addition to sophomore turning junior running back, Damian Martinez. We'll see if he can get both those guys. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Get in the comments right now. On one hand, I'm like, you know what? I predicted this a couple weeks ago that this was going to happen to Oregon State. I didn't feel good about it. Nobody feels good about it. But, I mean, unless, of course, you're just a sadist for Oregon State and Washington State. But nobody feels good about this. We knew this was probably going to happen. But I do know that now we're talking about that going up there to East Lansing. We're going to see some really good running back duels between Michigan and Michigan State these upcoming seasons. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.